Thank you for checking out this bonus edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I am your boy, 12 Kyle. Check this out. on this episode, on this bonus episode, what I want to talk about is an article that I read. I was doing some surfing on the internet the other day and came across this article, and the headline kind of caught my eye. It talked about a married woman who decided to give her husband for his birthday, not a gift, well, a special gift. She decided to give him his wish on having a threesome with another woman. And after reading the article, I had some thoughts. I had some ideas and I had some thoughts. And I said, instead of tweeting this out, why don't I just read this and give my opinion on it? So let us get on to the case at hand. And I'll read it to you, like I said, I cut out some parts, but once I read it, I'll give you my explanation. Or I'll give you my explanation or my thought, my feedback as I read it. And it starts off like this. When my husband's 40th birthday approached, I offered to buy him a vintage watch. He said he prefers something else, a threesome with me and another woman. We'd never done anything like that, but I spontaneously said, quote unquote, yes. There was a cost analysis. Watches are expensive. And it seemed like a really cool way to keep our dynamic lives as cool as possible as we entered middle age. A few weeks later, a magazine editor asked me to submit some ideas for a personal essay. Apparently, she's a writer. And I mentioned the birthday plan. I soon had a contract for an article tentatively titled, quote unquote, 40th birthday threesome. At that point, I was more or less obliged to go through with it. Hold up. Mistake number one. You were not ready. Don't do it because you feel obliged to. That's never a good thing. And before I go further, be clear. 012 Kyle never did it. So I'm just here to give you my 12 cents. So yeah, mistake number one. Look here, lady, you weren't ready. And if you're doing it out of obligation and you've managed to make it into something that not only after you do it, you're going to write about it and publish it in a magazine and you're going to get paid for it, you are a dummy. But let us read on. At no point did I change my mind. I just doubted whether I'd whether I'd find the third party. I couldn't quite figure out how to conduct the research. Should I ask friends, acquaintances, advertise online? I was kind of new to this experimentation. My hunt for her ended up being the most interesting part of the gift. It was a thrilling role reversal. As a woman, I'd been used to waiting for someone to notice and pursue me. Now suddenly I was the pursuer. I could choose who I wanted and go after them. I started noticing women everywhere, and I was strategizing the mostly unsuccessful about how to seduce them. It became my personal mission that had little to do with lust. When my entries to my friends and acquaintances failed, I ended up advertising online and connecting with a 40-something-year-old woman. She said she had never been in a threesome and had never been with another woman. But she was up for it because in the French phrase, she didn't, quote, want to die an idiot, close quote. Hold up. Mistake number two. Stranger danger. This is risky behavior. This could be borderline nasty behavior. I'm not a sex expert. I don't play one on TV, and I definitely don't play one for the pod. However, I will say this much. I would like to think that you would get with somebody that you knew or somebody that you had some type of connection with. Just a thought. Again, it's just my 12 cents. Let us read on. We met alone for a drink, and we liked each other. But then she wanted to meet for another drink, and then another drink. And then we were going to discuss how we were going to do during the threesome. By our third or fourth quote unquote date, I was getting impatient. Hold up. Mistake number 3. Patience is a virtue, dummy. Can't rush the process. Let us read on. Eventually, we set a date and met for the main event. The fact that a threesome is a sexual act kind of took me by surprise. I'd invested so much energy in the planning stage, I hadn't thought much about the execution. Hold up. Mistake number 4. Plan ahead. You have to plan for the get down. Let us read on. Both physically and emotionally, it was an entirely new experience for me. I got to observe how another woman acts in bed. I was struck that she kept her large hoop earrings on. I didn't realize that you could do that. The sexual act was confusing. It was hard for me to keep track of who was at what stage. In the best case of one-on-one, there's a flow of energy between two people. And it's kind of intense. Silent communication. With 3 people, that energy is more dispersed. Of course, there's something undeniably sexy about a mosh pit of bodies and limbs, but I would think it would take practice and comfort to balance that energy flow between 3 people. And it doesn't necessarily happen the first time. The woman told me that she enjoyed it far more than she expected, and she'd be up for a rematch. That never happened. We continued to meet for drinks every so often, but she never mentioned it again. Maybe she was waiting on me to bring it up. But by then I'd retract back to my more passive, classy female role, and I was too shy to suggest it. Hold up. Mistake number 5. Rookies make mistakes. Don't act like a rookie. This was for your man. Do your job, player, and get out the way. Now let us read on. Perhaps I hesitated about an encore because right after the threesome, I was quite shaken up. I needed to emotionally reconnect with my husband to feel that he was all mine again. Hold up. Mistake number 6. Insecure. You are more insecure than Issa, Lawrence, and Molly. Get out of here with that bullshit. Let us read on. When the article appeared, many strangers weighed in on my marriage in the comment section. There was a lot of moral stridency and puritanism. Quite a few women warned of long-term damage that this would do to my marriage. They said that I shouldn't submit to my husband's sexual whims, or for that matter, for the sake of equity, I ought to insist on having a threesome with him and another man. Hold up. Mistake number 7. Hell to the no. To the no. He ain't going for that. If he were going for that, he would have suggested that in the first place. But that ain't how he get down. So you suggest that, you might be packing your bags. But let us read on. but I've never regretted doing it. And in the long term, I think that this adventure has been positive for our marriage. Despite the warnings from the naysayers, the threesome wasn't a gateway drug leading to other extreme acts. It was just a strange, exciting, one-off, anomalous experience. We quickly went back to being mainstream. My concern is that 12 years later, I'm solidly now into middle age. And the idea of me being in the threesome seems less sexy. In my last book, I joked that I was starting to detect a new expression in the faces of men that I pass on the street. Quote, I sleep with her, but only if I was required to do it with no effort. Close quote. In retrospect, I learned a lot from the other woman. I now appreciate that she took the time to get comfortable with what we plan to do and talk it through. I've come to see that level of anticipation and communication as part of the experience. Hold up. Mistake number 8. Was it worth it to you? Because it doesn't sound like it was. So my guess is probably not. But let us read on to the conclusion. I'm shy about recommending recipes, let alone this. It's obviously not for everyone. But I'd say it's something that's a little bit scary and out of your comfort zone. There's a specific buzzing feeling that comes with doing something entirely new. It kind of wakes you up. It is also a fond memory of the sum of our shared experiences. And I'm not going to die an idiot. The end. Hold up. Translation. The watch would have been a better gift. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me. Thank you for checking out this bonus episode of the 12 Kyle podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast. We drop episodes every Thursday at midnight. From time to time, we drop bonus episodes like this one on Sundays at midnight. If you feel so inclined, hit us up on Cash App, $TWELVEKYLE. Again, that's going to do it for me. I'm your boy 12 Kyle. I'll catch you guys next time. 5 G's. Chill.